Welcome back to the Shelbyville Shuffle, where we follow the rhythm of the Shelby County real estate market. Today is March 11th, 2026, and today we're zooming out for a moment because sometimes the best way to understand Shelbyville's market is to see where the entire country is moving. Let's see what Justin has to say about some of this. Take it away, Mr. Polston.
All right. Thanks so much. So yes, today we're zooming out a little bit, and for that, we bring in the numbers and our favorite property professor, Nerdy Nelson. So Nelson, you sent me this map earlier today. Which states gained the most residents in 2025? What stood out to you?
Oh, good. My favorite part, migration statistics. Well, Justin, the pattern is extremely consistent. The states gaining the most residents were South Carolina, Idaho, North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, and Texas. In other words, Americans are still moving south and inland.
So, the Sunbelt story continues.
Exactly. Lower taxes, warmer weather, and significantly lower housing costs compared to coastal markets.
Now, whenever people move somewhere, they're leaving somewhere else. Who's losing residents?
The biggest losses continue to come from California, New York, Illinois.
Which is interesting because people always assume migration is about weather, but a lot of it is really about housing math.
And those states have a common factor: housing affordability.
But Nelson, the article mentioned something else. Migration is still happening, but it's not as intense as it was a few years ago.
Correct. For example, the median home price in California is roughly 3 to 4 times higher than many Midwestern markets. Now, that creates a strong financial incentive to relocate.
All right, now let's bring this back home, because Shelbyville isn't exactly competing with Miami. But markets like ours do get affected by these national shifts.
All right. From roughly 2020 through 2022, we saw a massive relocation wave. Remote work allowed millions of Americans to move. But by 2025, the pace has normalized. People are still moving, just not at the same pandemic speed.
Which is where places like Indiana quietly show up on the map. Good schools, lower housing costs, and you're still within commuting distance of Indianapolis.
Absolutely. When high-cost states lose residents, those residents redistribute across the country. Some go to major Sunbelt metros, but many start looking for smaller cities with affordability.
So what you're saying is Shelbyville might not be the headline migration destination, but we can benefit from the ripple effects.
Correct. Midwestern housing markets often benefit from what economists call secondary migration effects. When large metros get expensive, buyers start expanding their search radius. Exactly. Housing markets operate more like water systems than isolated lakes. Pressure builds somewhere, eventually flows outward. Yeah.
That might be the nerdiest thing you've ever said on this show.
It's literally hydrodynamic migration theory. And compared to many national markets, Shelby County Housing is still extremely affordable.
Of course it is. But we do see signs of this locally. Relocation buyers, Indianapolis commuters, investors looking for affordable rental properties.
Which means if national migration continues long-term, markets like ours remain well-positioned.
So, while the headlines focus on Texas and Florida, don't overlook the quieter markets across the Midwest, because sometimes the biggest opportunities show up before the national spotlight does.
And remember, data always moves before the headlines. And now the migration trends are confirmed. The spreadsheets are satisfied. Release the music. Let's do this. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, the migration righties! The moving trucks roll down. The moving trucks roll down the states. From California they depart, seeking homes with lower charts. Build, South Carolina calls their name. Texas towns begin to gain. The data sings, the numbers rise. Affordable homes win the prize. Final ultimate in line. Oh, Shelbyville, your day